there will be no case and no scandal. Of course, this Norwegian company cannot give bribe directly. It's impossible because they have some certain regulations and they will never show in their report why they pay this huge amount of money. That's why they hired the consultants. They hired the consultants and the consultant got this money, and I think that he will solve all this problem. And for any foreign investigator, it will be impossible to prove that it was just a deal, something like corrupted deal or a corrupted practice abroad. Because nobody will investigate this case in Russia, and for the foreign country, it's just the deal with the consultant. They officially and legally hired the consultant for different purposes. They can maybe show for what purposes the consultant will be hired. The other situation is that, for example, there are not direct bribes, as I mentioned in Russia. Yeah, the companies can hire the wives of top officials. For example, we wrote about it. The wife of Ivanov, Sergei Ivanov, who was the head of Federal Security Service, and then he was the Minister of Defense in Russia. Finally, he's Vice Prime Minister in Russia. Yeah, she worked for at least two big foreign companies in her past: for Alcatel, a French telecommunication company, and for Solvay.
What were her alleged skills?
No, she was an economist. She's an economist. In her past, he worked for this company. But it was in the period when, for example, Alcatel was very active in the Russian market. And at the time, Ivanov was the head of Federal Security Service. And to be active in telecommunications sphere in Russia, you need some certain documents from the Federal Security Service on certain things. We will never prove that it was anything like well, this kind of practice. But we published the story. We just showed these connections. We asked questions. Well, we got the answers that, well, we are a big company. Why not for the wife of Ivanov to work in our company if we are big enough and famous enough? Like in Solvay case, absolutely the same situation. The pharmaceutical concern, one of the biggest Western companies. They just hired the wife of this official. They even can tell you that they do not know that she was a wife of this official. Is it a corruptive practice? It cannot be considered to be anyhow corruptive practice. I don't think so. That it will be able, any foreign investigator will be able to prove that it looks like corruptive practice. The same thing with IKEA. For example, the former director of IKEA in Russia, in his book, he wrote that for a long time they couldn't solve the problem with the market center in Khimki region of Moscow. But finally, they donated some certain amount of money for developing of children's sport in Khimki region. And the problem was solved. How can you check, for example, if it is a charitable donation from this or that company? I'm not mentioning IKEA in this case, yeah? If the company just donates some certain sum of money to the foundation, this or that, maybe absolutely unknown foundation, how will you prove that it was in fact corruptive practice? Or the same, it was reports in Russia, recently I wrote it in some publications, that IKEA hired, in the past, hired the daughter of the director of President's Administration Management Department. Yeah, Russian President's Administration Management Department. It was a time when IKEA solved the problem with some lands. They needed lands for their market center, not far from the center of Moscow. And there was a fight between Moscow government and President's administration for this land. Can it be considered to be corruptive practice? I don't know what to say about it. So before the time, well, you can show you the example. I can show the example why, for example, foreign companies, they lost money and time when they are not involved in the corruptive practices. The same situation with IKEA. They tried to open market center in Samara 7 times. And 7 times they were stopped by, 6 times, they were stopped by local officials who just demanded more and more documents without explaining why they need this or that paper once more.
Are you suggesting that had IKEA
certainly they demanded the bribe
yeah.
from, but I don't think that IKEA paid anything. They finally make this situation public, and the head of IKEA told that, you see, we will not be able to develop our business in Russia if it will be going on. And finally, they somehow solved the problem with the Samara region, and the process is going on.
In that case, they shamed the Samara region?
They lost a lot of money, and they lost a lot of time.
But in the end, do you think they succeeded by shaming Samara?
I don't know. I don't.
Let's
I
hope.
can't answer this question because I don't.
Wouldn't that be nice if that were the case?
I just understand absolutely clear for me that if IKEA paid bribe, it will be absolutely easy for them to solve this question. They didn't pay bribe, and you see the practice. 7 times they were denied to open the center.
Well, on that note, you're here till when? You're in the United States until?
To the 3rd of September. I am in Washington. I'm having practice in ICIJ, it's the National Consortium for Investigative Journalists, the project of the Center for Public Integrity. We had some joint projects with the center, and I hope that we will have some joint investigative projects with the center dedicated to some international topics and Russian part of these international topics. So I should like to say that I'm grateful to Paul Klebnikov Foundation and to Herman Institutes for being here. I got wonderful opportunities to talk to many experts. We met with a lot of people recently and have wonderful talks and wonderful discussions. And I think that these people will become a kind of independent expert, because we need as much independent experts as possible to discuss the situation publicly, what's happening in Russia. That's why it's extremely useful for me to be here and to talk to you. If anybody from you have the experience of working in Russian markets, or you understand the situation of Russian market, I will be glad to talk to you, and it will be extremely important for me.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time.